Welcome back, everyone, to the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 142. Let's get right down to business. No time to speak. Actually, before we have time to speak.
So we're not going to get down to business.
Yeah, you're right.
Gotcha.
Give it like a minute, then we'll get down to business. Go check us out on TikTok. I just posted a TikTok clip from last podcast. I'm going to try to start posting like a lot of clips on there. Go follow us on everything, at High Tempo Podcast on Instagram. We don't have a Twitter, but
follow us on Twitter.
Follow us on follow me and Easton on Twitter.
I don't know how you're going to find us.
You might.
Yeah, good luck.
And then obviously download our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever, and subscribe on YouTube. All right, there it is. Jeremy Grant just got traded to the Portland Trailblazers like 2 hours ago before we did this podcast. We're currently doing this Wednesday night before the draft. Jeremy Grant traded to the Portland Trailblazers for a 2025 first-round pick. We also swapped second-round picks, so we have 36 now instead of 46, and then we get 2 future second-round picks out of this as well, 2025 and 2026. Instant reactions. You'll go first.
So instantly I read this, and I was like, oh, man. It was after I saw the Christian Wood deal, I knew we were getting the 7th pick for him. Mm-hmm. But, of course, I read to Portland, and I'm like, oh, my God. Holy shit. Milwaukee's 2025 pick, who will probably still have Giannis.
Milwaukee's, yeah.
Yeah, probably will still have Giannis. Won't be a lottery team, but it is protected 1 through 4. It is protected 1 through 4.
That would be our luck. The one year they suck, that pick is top 3.
And I told, I was coaching during the time, and I told one of the kids on my team who was a big Pistons fan, and he goes, we traded him for a bag of chips? And I was like, oh, man, that hurts. Come on, man. Come on. It just sucks. I almost would have rather liked to hang on to Jeremy Grant, but we did just free up a ton of cap room. $21 million went out with him. Might have been $24 million. I think there was something else. There was a $3 million something in there.
Some sort of trade exception or something.
Yeah. Looking at $43 million in cap room now, which is a lot of money to play with in a free agent market with a ton of guys who are looking for, I think, $20 million a year type of money. I think there's a lot of good players this year that we can go out and get for that kind of money.
And Keith Smith, he's a cap expert in the NBA. He was tweeting immediately after this trade that he expects the Pistons to have $56 million in cap space with a potential Kelly Olynyk dump coming, which it happened with Mason Plumlee last year. We could end up using this 36 pick to do exactly what we did with Mason Plumlee last year, move back down in the second round to dump off his contract, which obviously it sucks to move down in the draft while also trading away a guy, but if it creates more room, then it's
$56 million is a max slot with that's $20 million to play with. Yeah.
And for the Pistons at least. And it's coming into free agency, we already were one of the teams with the most cap space. We had over or close to $30 million in cap space. Now we easily have the most cap space out of any team. My instant reaction was definitely shit. We just traded Jeremy Grant for a horrible pick. At least I think it will be. But with the way the NBA is nowadays,
who knows?
Brooklyn might be blowing it up. You never know what will happen in Milwaukee in 3 years. But right now, it looks like that pick is not going to be nothing. Yes, we moved up 10 spots in the second round, which I actually think is kind of a dub, especially with the great second-round picks early there's been in the last couple of years. But this was definitely a salary filler, a salary dumper. Jeremy Grant is on an expiring contract. He's looking for a 4-year, $112 million extension, which Woj said Portland is probably going to at least try to extend him, whether it's that max or not. But he goes to the team that he was rumored to go to for quite some long time. Jeremy Grant and Damian Lillard are very good friends. They played Team USA last summer, and it's a guy that they've wanted for a while. I'm definitely happy for Jeremy Grant. He's going to go. Portland's going to compete. He gets to play with his friend, Damian Lillard. And it's like we just talked about right before the podcast, the Blazers are already rumored to maybe try and trade pick 7 for OG Anunoby, which would be a huge deal for them. So, I watched Woj's little clip that he talked about this trade happening. Obviously, he didn't really mention anything about the Pistons side of things, which makes sense. No one on TV is going to want to hear about.
We're not competing for anything. Exactly. That doesn't make us competitive.
They're talking about Damian Lillard and the Blazers, which is respectable, obviously. You're not going to talk about Detroit. But after about 2 hours of this trade going through, I actually am cool with it. It's not like they just Troy Weaver just accepted like a horrible trade that was on the block. This was clearly his best offer. He's not just going to get fleeced for when he has a better offer on the table. We knew with 7 wasn't going to happen after Christian Wood. I had hopes about pick 16 from Atlanta because they were talked about going for Jeremy Grant. It would have been nice to get a pick in this year's draft.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with how much talent is in this draft, in those top 15. But like you said, I think Troy Weaver really made a move, and maybe it wasn't even like the best offer on the table, but it was close to. But I bet you Jeremy Grant's happy right that trade,
Yeah.
Well, if I got to get traded, at least it's to Portland. Good relationship with the Pistons, puts good word out there about the Detroit Pistons.
Exactly, and Jeremy Grant has done nothing but be great to the Pistons and the city of Detroit and to Troy Weaver. They've both said that they have a great relationship with each other. So Troy Weaver makes Jeremy Grant happy, and who knows? Maybe this, obviously with Jeremy Grant being traded, I think the Keegan Murray pick looks like it might make the most sense now because we were saying for a while like, yeah, I would like to get Keegan Murray, but only if Jeremy Grant is traded. Now that he finally is traded, which this has been talked about for so long now, so it is weird that it actually finally happened. But maybe the Keegan Murray is the pick here. But this opens up a potential, like for this trade to me, it means one of two options. This is just what I think. Obviously, they have way more options than this. This either means you still get Jaden Ivey at pick 5. You get Miles Bridges and DeAndre Ayton in restricted free agency, and you run out a lineup of Cade, Ivey, Sadiq, Bridges, Ayton, with a bench of Beef Stew, Hami Diallo, Marvin Bagley, if they bring him back.
Corey Joe.
Yes,
sir.
Killian Hayes. I didn't even say Killian Hayes. Like, that starting 5, like, that could legitimately happen. So, DeAndre Ayton has already said that he would be interested in coming to Detroit if they offer him, and it's rumored that we will go after him. So
what do you think of, let's flip it around. We get Keegan Murray at pick 5.
Right, and that was my second option.
Colin Sexton, DeAndre Ayton.
Right, because I think Ayton has to be involved. At least with this trade, I think, because obviously before this trade happened, like the thought of getting DeAndre Ayton was like,
yeah, it's cool.
We could get him. Like if we got him, it'd be cool, but I don't expect it to happen. Now that this trade has happened, I feel like the Pistons got to be the favorite to get DeAndre Ayton, and that's not, I'm trying not to be biased, but like, I don't see how this move doesn't instantly make me think, okay, we're going to go after Ayton like hardcore now. Because if we just strike out, I mean, it wouldn't be that bad, but like it would be disappointing as a Pistons fan. Yeah.
Because once you get 1 or 2 to start to come, then you can get the rest to come. But you need the first guy to be like, no, I'm going to go to Detroit in free agency. I like what they're doing over there. Or I like how much money they're going to give me.
Yeah.
I love the DeAndre Ayton move for the Pistons. It definitely makes us a lot more of a winner right away. And I like the fact that he's still young and growing. DeAndre Ayton is still young.
He's what, 22, 23?
Yeah, still young and growing. I'm glad he's not going. I'm glad that this sets him up for an opportunity to not go to a contender again, where there's all that pressure. You can come here and grow with everybody.
Get better,
Grow with Cade, grow with Sadiq, grow with Killian. I'm so excited for this offseason now.
Exactly.
It's 56, 40, whatever we have, 43. That's a lot of money.
Oh,
that's
money, yeah.
It's an insane amount of money to have in the offseason. So pumped.
Yeah. But we are the Pistons, and we have had off seasons with money like this before, and it has ended in some horrible contracts. But we're under different ownership now. We're not gonna go sign a guy that doesn't fit our timeline. That's not what we're trying to do. We don't need to compete still. Obviously, we'd like to, but we just traded away our best player over the last 2 years. Like this guy was Troy Weaver's biggest signing of his career as a GM so far, and he just got traded away for not that much. So it's like, obviously we don't have to, there shouldn't be pressure for us to like ball out in free agency, but should something like that happen? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see two of those 3.
Yeah.
Bridges, Sexton, DeAndre. But I hope Ayton.
Yeah. One of the top restricted free agents needs to be in a Detroit Pistons jersey next year. Like it just has to happen, whether it's 1 or 2. My dream scenario is the first one I said. I think drafting Ivy at 5, getting Miles Bridges, who I wasn't all in on before. Now it's like, go for it. And then DeAndre Ayton. I mean, I think that would be awesome. If we draft Keegan Murray, getting Miles Bridges doesn't make any sense. As much as I love Miles Bridges, you can still go get Ayton, and then you can get Colin Sexton, or maybe, I don't think Jalen Brunson is really, I doubt he's out of Dallas.
I think he's out of the picture.
So and any other guards. I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any other like Simons, but there's no way he's going to leave Portland, or at least they're going to let him leave. So, yeah.
If you get two of those three, which is crazy, to get two of the top three players on the free agent market is huge. But, I mean, man, I almost would rather prefer Keegan Murray, Sexton, and DeAndre.
Yeah.
And I love Keegan Murray at the 4 in the NBA.
Yeah.
I think it'll just work so well.
He's like the perfect Jeremy Grant replacement.
He's just so perfect. Yeah. He is so perfect. And then, again, so you lose the scoring of Jeremy Grant. You replace a slightly worse scorer, better shooter, Keegan Murray. He's throwing a great attacker in Colin Sexton, who gets downhill, gets to the hole.
And a good scorer.
Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Pistons might be looking scary in a couple
So we're
years.
going to talk more about the Pistons once we get into draft talk. Let's get the NBA Finals talk out of the way right now, though, because that obviously did happen recently in between our last podcast.
The finals were going on?
Really?
No way.
The Golden State Warriors win the 2022 NBA Finals, their 4th title in 8 years with 6 appearances. And Steph Curry gets his first Finals MVP. Let's get this talk out of the way, because this has been the talk of the town in NBA talk. Is Steph Curry now a top 10 player in NBA history?
Yes. I think it's. I think to me, I get the argument. To me, it's obvious. Now that he has won this, and I'm not saying I don't know what the logic is here, but I can discredit Iguodala's Finals MVP. Probably should have won Steph anyways.
Everyone knows that.
One of the greatest teams ever, the greatest turnaround maybe in NBA history. Maybe I don't really know. That's off the top of my head. That for going to the worst team in the league, and then 2 years with the same roster, basically, and then 2 years later being back in the finals is pretty amazing. Obviously, there's a lot of context in there. But to me, Steph Curry is now easily a top 10 player of all time. I put him right at like the 8 to 7 range.
Really?
Yeah.
So he jumps up high.
Yeah.
So who falls out?
It was a ring and a Finals MVP.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Who falls out though?
I don't know. I'd have to look at it. It's
we might have to do a top whatever players of all time
with Steph. Yeah.
This offseason. Yeah.
I did have it in my head. Who like
I had mine, but when we did this on the podcast. Like before we started doing YouTube. So this had been like at least over a year ago. So like, I don't know what mine truly is. Like, because it's different than it is now. Like I
basically
what it
in
was,
my head, basically like have him right behind like Larry Bird, who to me is not the 5th best player of all time. Right. Some people he is, but he's like 7.
So like me. Is Steph like over Hakeem Olajuwon now?
Yes. Yeah.
I agree.
Easily.
I don't know if Steph's in my top 10. I think he is, but I would, like you said, I would really have to go like Steph or Wilt.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
And part of the issue now is I've like committed myself to this whole. I don't really feel like ranking Bill Russell anymore. I've like committed to that.
Yeah, because you did last time.
Yeah, and I'm pretty much done ranking him as a top 10 player. Yeah, he's great, but he's not. He's not a top 10 player.
He probably should be like in the grand scheme of things. But
how can I rank him versus Larry Bird or Magic Johnson? How can I compare those two guys? They are totally different. Or LeBron and Bill Russell.
And the eras are just way different, and there's so much different context in all situations.
So much. But shout out Bill Russell. But like that's part of the reason he is also like easily top 10 to me, because I also took out Bill Russell.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think this has cemented Steph's legacy, and now he's chasing greatest point guard of all time.
Which is going to be tough.
Yeah, I already think he was number 2, but like now there's no argument anymore.
Definitely.
He is number 2, second greatest point guard of all time. Some people have him as the greatest. It's a stretch
That's
to me.
That's your opinion, yeah.
It's a stretch to me, but I can see what you're saying, skill, blah, blah, blah. But to catch Magic in my book, there's another ring, for sure.
Because the thing is, most basketball fans who, actually compose these lists and actually put thought into it, not just like it's LeBron, Jordan, and Kobe are top 3. Like you actually are thinking about it. Most people have Magic Johnson in their top 5. I would say like almost everyone has Magic Johnson in their top 5.
I almost discredit your list if he's not top 5.
Right.
Like, so it's that crazy?
So that means Steph Curry is top 5 ever. And it's like, holy crap, that's like wild.
Yeah, that is wild to say. I think
Steph Curry's great.
Yeah, Steph Curry is great. Top 10 players all time, that's a whole different list. That's like, even though we're saying like Hakeem might get knocked out, being the 11th greatest player of all time is impressive as hell.
Yeah. And it's not even off of recency bias. I do think Steph is a top 10 player of all time now. but it's hard to put somebody out. It's hard to take somebody out of that list because it's easy for anyone to just say, oh, yeah, he's definitely top 10 now.
Yeah, but justify it.
Yeah, exactly. Then who's not top 10?
Why not? Yeah, I think Hakeem is probably the guy, sadly.
I think so, too.
Just because of the 2 rings. Like, it just sucks that he didn't win enough. Steph has 4 rings.
He has as many as LeBron.
It's
weird to say.
That is so weird. And he is the greatest. Here's one of the things that also helps him. Greatest Warriors player in history. Hakeem is the greatest Rocket of all time. But, like, the Warriors didn't really do much until Steph was there. And they were really struggling. I mean, they had Jason Richardson, those guys who were an 8
I mean,
seed.
like, long time ago, Warriors, obviously.
Yeah, run
were
TMC.
Good. Yeah, and, like, even, like, Wilt Chamberlain days, like, Rick Barry days. But,
like, actually winning rings, none of them did it.
Yeah.
Steph just came in and won 4 as a guy who people were questioning a lot. It is just so cool to see how Steph Curry's career has pan out, and I'm so excited to see how it continues to pan out.
And the Warriors are not going anywhere, obviously.
They could very well be back next year.
Yeah, they have aging Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, but other than that, they have a bunch of young players on the come up. Obviously, Jordan Poole broke out this year. Jonathan Kuminga had a very good rookie season. James Wiseman, who was a second overall pick 2 years ago, didn't play this past year.
He was a freak.
Yeah, like, and if I trust any team in the NBA to get this guy to look good on a court, it's the Warriors. Kevon Looney is a free agent, and I would assume they're going to try and bring him back because he's been a part of 3 of these championship teams, which is weird to think. Like, it's been them 3 dudes and Kevon Looney.
Iggy's been on.
Yeah, but he took some time off.
Yeah,
Kevon Looney was there the whole time.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's going to be getting some money from other teams, so it depends on, because...
It depends on his own mindset. Does he want to... And I think, to me, he seems like a win-first guy. Like, I'm going to take winning over everything.
James Wiseman is right there, so who knows what that's going to happen. Jordan Poole is going to get that extreme Duffy this offseason, so shout out to Jordan Poole. And yeah, they're still on the come up. For the runner-ups, the Boston Celtics, they're the same exact way. They're not going anywhere. Expect them to be back. They had a great season this year, and they're led by 2 young stars in this league that are only going to continue to get better.
Yeah, for sure. This team has been... The Celtics season was just awesome to watch. And the playoff run that they went on was just awesome because they were basically counted out in every series. They're probably not going to win that series, and they're probably not going to win that series.
Yeah.
Holy shit,
and
these guys are legit.
Too. Like,
yeah.
I was that guy.
You are him. You are that guy.
Except for the Bucks series, after like 2 games, I think it was split 1-1. I was like, nah, dude. Boston's gonna beat the Bucks. Like I just thought it was like, damn, like I really been counting these dudes out. Like they're gonna win.
Yeah, they're
and
just
it didn't look
so good
for
now.
a minute, but
they will be competing in the East to go to the finals every year for the next 6 years. They can hold on to JT and Jaylen Brown and Smart. Just keep those guys.
And we're
going
to be reacting to our preseason predictions that we did earlier in the season. Now that the season is over, at the end of this episode, though. But let's talk about the draft and not just the Pistons, just about the entire draft. And about like rumors going around in the NBA. Draft night is tomorrow night. One of my favorite nights in all of the NBA. It might be my favorite part of the NBA season, low key. I love the draft.
Yeah, and especially I would probably say for me, it's either that or Christmas Day. I love Christmas Day because I will literally like my family knows now that like turn on the TV, Easton will be glued. He's just watching Christmas hoops all day.
Same.
Christmas hoops is just so fun. Everybody's having so much fun on Christmas Day.
Right.
But
Such
no, the
day.
NBA draft is like right there.
The first
Start
day
of
free agency is always amazing as well because it's just like this guy.
Free agency just started. There's
trade
10
deadline
guys.
day.
Oh, dude.
Oh, that might be that's up there. Like
that is definitely.
But I think the NBA draft is my favorite, and obviously the finals, is great too. But like
that's not one day.
Yeah, I love the NBA draft day just because I've always been a big like prospect guy. Like I try to learn as much as I can about all of the dudes that have a chance at getting drafted. And it just helps me know all the guys in the NBA too. So, but yeah, I'm super excited for the draft tomorrow night, mainly because obviously the Detroit Pistons have a top 5 pick. We were going to do a second mock draft. I know we talked about it, but we're not gonna. Usually it changes a good amount.
Yeah, but like a lot of this has stayed the same.
Changed. Yeah, especially like at the top of the draft. Obviously, there's been some risers and some fallers, but for the most part, it is about the same. So it wouldn't be that fun. I think we are going to do our top 5. What we think the top 5 is going to be, but that's it. So, do we want to do that right now? What we think the top 5 in the draft is going to look like?
Yeah, I have my top 5 has changed.
So is mine. So let's go. First overall pick, Orlando Magic.
I've got them taking now. I've hopped on the bandwagon. I've got them taking Jabari Smith. I'm probably in agreement. The dude is just like, he might have the biggest effect on a court just with his scoring ability.
Yeah.
He can just stretch the floor so well. He's so athletic. He can shoot the shit out of the ball. I just think he'd come and drop 20 a game for you pretty quickly in the NBA.
This top three is obviously set in stone, I would assume. I mean, you never know, but I would assume this top three is set in stone. But in recent days, it's really been kind of flip-floppy about, because you hear
something about Paolo going
exactly.
number one.
You hear about Jabari Smith, like, oh, Jabari Smith is the lock at number one. And then you're like, Paolo Banchero's getting all this talk, because it seemed like he was the lock at 3 for a while. And now it's like, whoa, Paolo Banchero might not go 3. So I do have something different. However, I do have the same as you. I have Jabari Smith going first overall to the Magic. I thought about the Chet Holmgren pick. I think it's going to be Chet or Jabari going 1. Because obviously the Chet has the connection with Jalen Suggs with the Magic. They kind of need a center. But I'm going Jabari Smith for all the same reasons as you. I love Jabari Smith, and I got him going 1.
Yeah, I think he can just come in and make an impact right away as a rookie and just not look like one for a lot of the year.
I think so too. Second pick, Oklahoma City Thunder.
And I still got them going Chet Holmgren here. I don't know what I had originally. I have them going Chet Holmgren. It just makes the most sense. Victor Wembanyama's in the draft next year. I think Chet is the least NBA ready. I could be wrong.
Out of those 3.
Yeah, out of those 3. I could be wrong. He very well could come in and block a ton of shots right away, hit threes, and space the floor well. But I'm not really sure. I think to me, he just looks like the least NBA ready. So that's why I've got to go into the Thunder. He looks like a project.
Yeah. Second pick, this is where I have something switching up. I have Paolo Banchero going second to the Thunder. There's just been all this sudden talk about Banchero. I think most people can agree that he is got the most all-around offensive skill set out of the 3 of these players currently at this moment, maybe not the ceiling-wise. And I think a lot of analysts do think that Banchero is the best right now in this moment. It's just the ceiling of the other 2 guys might be higher. But Banchero, he does it all offensively. I mean, he's quick off the dribble, obviously. He could tax the hoop well. He shot the ball well. I think the Thunder are going to take him at 2. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, I got him going second. So Chet Holmgren falls to the Rockets, which is...
Damn, what a shitty situation.
I bet the Rockets weren't expecting that.
No, they probably thought,
Rockets
we're getting Paolo. And I've got Paolo going to the Rockets still. And that is exciting to me. I think
he would fit them so well.
I think he's gonna have like the swagger that the Rockets team carries themselves with. And the whole defense thing to me, watching Paolo Banchero, I think it's a lot more about mentality than actual like defensive ability. I know he's a little slow-footed, but I think a lot of times at Duke he would just get lazy as shit and
when you have Mark Williams behind you protecting the rim, you can get away with it.
Absolutely.
He had a lot of great defenders around him as well. So.
Absolutely.
With Houston, he's not going to have that. So it's like...
You got to play some defense,
exactly.
Dog. Yeah, for sure.
But for me, I've Chet Holmgren falling to the 3rd pick to the Houston Rockets. It's going to be interesting to see what they do if this is the case with Alperen Sengun and Chet Holmgren. That's an interesting front court duo. But... I still don't think that the Rockets pass on Holmgren if he falls to them at 3. I think you have to take him, figure something out. But I don't know what this top 3 is going to look like. At this point, I think it could go in any order.
Yeah, for sure.
Banchero could very well go 1.
Absolutely. Which I'm so excited for draft night, for that first name to get called. Because to me, then the whole draft will be laid out. The first 3 picks will be laid out. But who knows? Who knows? Especially if Paolo goes number 1.
Yeah.
Then that screws everything up.
Who goes 2 now?
You want to go to number 4?
Yeah. 4th pick, Sacramento Kings. This is the weird one because obviously this is a top 3 draft. It seems like 4 and 5 are like not set in stone, but they're like these are the picks. But the Kings are weird. Obviously, the Kings are a weird franchise. They're a bad franchise. They don't draft well. So we'll see what they do here. But 4th pick, what do you got?
So I've been thinking a lot about the Kings and what they're going to do because they're the most important team to me in this draft as a Pistons fan. They decide who we get out of Keegan Murray and Jaden Ivey, hopefully. I hope we take whoever's left out of those 2.
Me too.
With this pick. If we take Shaedon Sharpe or Benedict Mathurin, as long as it's not over Jaden Ivey, I'll be okay. But if Jaden Ivey's at 5, I want him. I think it is a perfect, in the history of basketball, to me, what should happen from here on out is the Kings go out and they trade away a guard, open up a guard spot. But they traded away a really good guard. So they're not going to take a guard. They're going to take Keegan Murray. 5 years down the road, we laugh at them and be like, you guys opened up a guard spot and then didn't even take the best guard available. So I think they're going to try to avoid that and just take the guard so they don't run into that in the future where they go. But then they have the opposite effect. Oh, you guys traded away the best guard, took a guard who was worse.
But I think that is better than the other situation.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. So I've got them taking Jaden Ivey 4th overall.
I'm the same. I have Jaden Ivey going 4th. I don't want this to happen. My dream, I have a Pistons big board too on here. And Ivey is at number 1 on that. But I have Jaden Ivey going 4th. I think the Kings, it's been talked about teams want to trade up for Jaden Ivey. Apparently the Knicks have been trying to trade up with the Kings and Pistons for the 5th pick because they want Ivey. The Knicks, that's just a bad idea because Jaden Ivey is not a point guard. He is definitely not a point guard, your franchise point guard. Like, he definitely needs to be an off guard. So that just would be a horrible idea in the first place by the Knicks because they haven't had a good point guard in 40 years. Walt Frazier, like literally. So
don't diss Jose Calderon like that, Pablo Prigioni.
But yeah, Sacramento going Jaden Ivey here. It seems like a lot of teams think he is the best guy out of this top 3, and it would be a Kings-like thing for them to not take him. So I think, like you said, they're trying to not do they're trying to like get rid of this Kings stigma here.
Yeah.
And take who they're supposed to take, even if it's not the best fit.
Yeah. It's one of those things they just got to figure it out.
Yeah. And you can still have, like, obviously you traded away Tyrese Halliburton and you got shit for it. But, like, you could use another guard. Like, obviously Keegan Murray would probably make more sense fit-wise. But, like, you traded away Halliburton just to get Domantas Sabonis. So you still could use another guard. Ivy fits it well.
And Davion Mitchell, in all honesty, probably isn't a starter quality guard yet in his career.
Right.
Where you could easily get another guard and play all 3 of them.
You could easily just play all 3 of them.
Figure it out. Like,
and I
they'll
think
figure
Ivy
out who
complements
starts.
De'Aaron Fox pretty well, too. So they would be a really fun backcourt. But I don't want this pick to happen. It's just I hope that this pick happens. Mm-hmm. 5th pick, the Detroit Pistons. I want to give a quick clarity for this pick. I made this mock draft before the Jeremy Grant trade happened.
You couldn't switch it around?
I could, but I don't want to.
But, like, things are different now.
Things are different now. But I'm going to believe what I've been reading and what I've been seeing, and I'm sticking with it. I'll just go.
I kind of want to go.
All right, go ahead.
I want Keegan Murray. That's the guy I want. I think he's just so perfect to me. He feels like Grant Williams to me. I just want him so bad.
At the 5th pick?
Better. Hey, Grant Williams is a great NBA player.
At the 5th pick, though?
But, like, what do you expect?
No, I get what you're saying, but yeah, obviously I have Keegan Murray higher than this guy that I'm going to say on my 5th pick here, but everything I've been seeing is that this guy's really high on the Pistons board. He might be the top guard over Jaden Ivey. It's just rumor, hearsay. Benedict Mathurin going 5th overall to the Detroit Pistons. I like Benedict Mathurin's game. I think he would really complement Cade really well. If Keegan Murray is here at 5, I would like them to pick him, though. This is my projection. Obviously, I did do this before the Jeremy Grant trade, but this also, I mean, just because we don't draft Murray doesn't mean we can't go get Miles Bridges in, just a guy to play the 4 for our team. So obviously, we need to draft one of these 3 guys, I think. Ivy, Mathurin, or Keegan Murray. But I have Mathurin going 5th, just because that's what Woj reported in his, or not, he didn't report it, but he made his little mock draft thing about who he thinks each team is most likely to pick, and Mathurin was the guy for the Pistons.
Really?
Which is like, that's Woj. I mean,
that's
like,
Woj. He doesn't. Nobody has ever discredited Woj ever.
Exactly.
Like, nobody's been like, no. Like, no player has been like, this is a false report.
That's a dumb thing for you to say, Woj.
Man, that would be so interesting. I like Mathurin too, and I think he'd fit really well next to Cade. Mm-hmm. The fact that we have a big point guard is just such a cheat code.
Yeah.
It is just such a real-life cheat code.
And by the way, a year ago today was when we won the draft lottery, and me and Barry Hill were talking about it. Like, that probably is like the best moment of my life so far.
Mine was, wow.
No, I'm just kidding.
My best sports moment was definitely Hutch going number 1.
Or going number 2.
Or number 2.
Okay. Actually, though, like, as a sports fan, my best sports fan moment, I think it is us winning the draft lottery, because that was such an important thing to the Pistons franchise. Like, imagine if we win it this year or the year before. I love Anthony Edwards, but like getting Cade is just, it's huge. Like,
he's just so good at basketball.
Like, I didn't care that we didn't win the lottery this year because it was like, it doesn't matter what pick we get. We have Cade. Like, we can draft anyone and they'll fit with him. Like, he is such a nice guy to have on the team. And it's only his rookie year. Like, imagine how good he's going to get.
So I'm going to bring up a sports moment, and I want you to pick between these two sports moments.
Oh, is it the MSU beating Duke?
Kenny Goins.
Yeah, that's probably my best sports moment. Yeah, because I was so happy. That's definitely my best MSU moment. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. More than any beating
more
Michigan.
than the fumble?
Yeah, probably.
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
Well, that was basketball. That's and you're not playing against...
Obviously, I'm a huge MSU football fan, but I would say I'm a bigger MSU basketball fan than Michigan fan, than football fan.
Yeah, and that moment is just
I'm trying to think of the Lions one. Like, there really isn't one, just unfortunately. Hutch. Like, but I'm like thinking of like a game. But like, I mean, making the playoffs was nice. The comeback drive.
And then you make the playoffs, and then what happens? The refs blow
Exactly. Like, there definitely is a game in there. Like, whooping on the Cardinals this year had to be up there, but yeah, I have Benedict Mathurin going 5th. This is my Pistons big board, and I'll read mine off, and I guess you can kind of think of yours.
Yep, I've already got it.
Jaden Ivey, number 1. If he's there, draft him. Obviously, that's what, like, most ideal. He's up here, and then it's like, I love the guys after him, but he's really what I want. 2nd, Keegan Murray. I want Keegan Murray. I think he would be a great wing, like you said, to play the power forward on this team. He fits well with DeAndre Ayton, or if it's Isaiah Stewart there. And he's just a great scorer. He's pretty underrated, I think, just because he isn't like the flashy player. Like, he probably is the most NBA ready dude right now.
Franz Wagner.
Could be Franz Wagner, but he's a better scorer.
Mm-hmm.
At least in college he was.
Yeah.
And I don't like the whole argument about like, well, he's a year older. He's 21 already. Like, we should draft him. And who gives a shit? But also, like, as a freshman, he like came out like he was a decent freshman player, came off the bench. Sophomore year explodes, averages 25 points a game in college. So you're telling me he's just done improving after 1 year of a huge leap?
Yeah.
Now he's just that. Like,
this is as good as he'll get.
That was 1 year. Like, he clearly could continue to get better. Benedict Mathurin at 3, another guy who's slightly older. I think he's 20. Maybe I don't think he's 21 yet. We already talked about him. Shaedon Sharpe at 4. I kind of am happy that the whole Shaedon Sharpe thing is like not gonna.
Yeah,
it's
dude, I just
probably
don't want
not
him.
gonna happen. If it does, I will support it, obviously, and I do think he could be great. But I'm not really. I don't really want to do the project thing.
Yep, me either.
I don't think I want to do it.
I'm sick of it.
Right, especially after Killian Hayes. Like, if Killian Hayes, like,
I don't want a second project.
Right, when
Killian
we're already
Hayes is
still
my
trying to work
project.
one. Yeah, exactly. So, and then my 5th slot is don't care, because if it's not any of these 4 guys, then I don't care.
I don't know if I'll be a Pistons fan.
Yeah, if it's Dyson Daniels.
Oh my God!
Not really too like he could be good.
It would be pretty hyped to get Dyson Daniels, but not with the 5th pick.
I don't want him there. Yeah, exactly.
That means we're taking him over Keegan Murray, and
we're taking
Benedict
over
Mathurin.
Murray, Mathurin, or Ivy. Yeah, 2 of those 3 guys, and Sharpe, and it's like,
come on,
right, like Dyson Daniels is he gonna be? Like, because
just because Josh Giddey, come on, like we can't just follow suit.
Seriously, dude, like, come on. So yeah, that's my big
shot,
one,
bro.
What's yours?
Mine is the exact same.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Like there's just no different. I am also extremely happy that Shaedon Sharpe is kind of like out of the picture and in the back of everybody's mind.
And it still could happen.
If we make a Giants-esque move and take Shaedon Sharpe, I'll be pretty upset.
A Giants move?
Yeah, like how they took what's his face?
Daniel Jones.
No, who they the corner.
Oh
my God!
No, he got Sauce Gardner. You're thinking of the Texans taking Derek Stingley.
Yeah. I'm thinking of the Texans.
That came like out of nowhere.
Yeah. Do you think? Okay.
Wait, no. The Giants didn't get Sauce Gardner. They got Kayvon Thibodeau. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know the Texans.
I
Derek
do get
Stingley.
what you're saying.
Do you think there is a possibility of something happening like that in this top 10? Like, obviously there's a possibility, but I don't see a guy just like leaping.
I don't think anyone leaps into the top 3, and I don't see a world where Ivy doesn't go 4th or 5th. Like, I just don't think he falls past 5. I feel like Shaedon Sharpe could easily slip. I don't think any team reaches for him. I think I could see him slipping out of the top 10 possibly. That's why I kind of thought about doing another mock, just because to make things way different, but it would just take too long anyways. We had
for one player.
We had too much to talk about. Yeah, exactly. Anyone else like jumping up way like Dyson Daniels, I think is probably the guy if it's gonna happen. to go like top 7 or something out of nowhere. But anyone else, I really can't.
He also could fall out of nowhere.
Yeah. And maybe Jalen Duren, like maybe, but I don't think so. So yeah, it's
Jalen Duren is interesting, man.
Yeah.
He's an interesting player.
So
I
that's
can't
the
wait to
top
see
5.
him in the NBA. Because you see these big athletic freaks in college, and they're big athletic freaks. You put Jalen Duren on an NBA floor, he's still big and athletic, but he's not as much of a freak as he used to be. So I'm really excited to see how he pans out.
And obviously, there's a lot of guys in this draft that I like that I would like to get on the Pistons with this 36 pick. That was kind of a little bit what I wanted to talk about. But it's hard to project who's going to fall to the second round. Like there's late first round guys that I like, and especially in recent drafts, I was like they showed a clip about this on I don't remember what I saw it on. I think I was on Twitter, and it was just like these like guards have been great in the past, or like late round guards came in and were good right away. It was like Bones Highland, Tyrese Maxey, Emmanuel Quickly. There's more too. I just can't think of them all. There's been a lot of like late first round pick players that have been really good out of nowhere. Even like Sadiq Bey went at 19 a couple years ago.
Feels like a lot of the Peyton Pritchard. Feels like
Peyton Pritchard,
a lot of the undersized guards that teams like, man, those guys are undersized. They kind of come in and just start, tween, cross, bop, bop,
Could
in your face.
definitely be like Kennedy Chandler or Ty Washington.
I hope it's Kennedy Chandler. I like Kennedy
I hope it's
Chandler
either of those guys. But at 36, there's a few, obviously like our at home picks. Max Christie, would be interesting. I don't know if I want it.
It'd be hype.
Yeah,
I'd be hype.
I'd be hype, but it would just be like,
I like Max Christie.
I would hate to see him fail on my favorite team.
Yeah, facts.
That's the part that I would hate.
suck.
And then obviously Caleb Houston or Moussa Diabate, you never know.
Dude, that would be crazy.
The guy who I want the most, who's not going to be there, is Jalen Williams from Santa Clara. I had him mocked like in the 20s, I think, in our original mock draft. A mock I seen like this today had him going like 16 though, so he like probably won't be there. But I just want you just throw a wing, just get a wing there, or do you get a center? I don't know.
No, we don't need a center.
Yeah, think about all the good wings that have gotten drafted in the second round. Just like get your Herbert Jones in the second round.
Yeah, facts.
Just
facts.
get him.
Get somebody who just clamps up and nobody can score on.
Yeah.
Or somebody who can score the shit out of the
Justin Lewis
ball.
from Marquette. He's like a lot like Herb Jones, at least like size wise. Like a 7-some
like
wingspan.
Prospect wise.
6'6", 6'7" wing, like can play great defense. Like somebody like that is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But I'm hyped for the draft.
Me
like
too,
I can't
man.
wait.
The whole first round's just gonna be so hype.
Oh, I know.
Does the whole first round take place on that tomorrow night?
Yeah, the whole draft does. First and second round.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, I'm excited to see who falls. Somebody always falls.
Somebody always falls.
Who's gonna fall?
I think it's gonna be Shaden Sharp.
I could see
I think
that.
Johnny Davis is gonna fall too.
Oh, dude, I hope not. I like Johnny.
Yeah, I just feel like he's gonna. I just got a feeling.
Yeah, I feel you.
But who knows?
Who knows? The Spurs could take him.
Let's talk. Yeah, they could take him. But they took Primo, though. Would they take him?
I don't know. I think Johnny Davis is like the perfect Spurs player.
I feel like we say that about every single player.
I said it about Johnny Davis in the mock draft. Because it's the 2-dribble scorer. It's so tough.
Oh, another guy that I could see rising into the top 10, Ousmane Dieng. Remember that dude from New Zealand?
Yeah.
Or Australia? I could so see him rising in this draft as well. Just because he's that big, giant, like 6'9" player that has a great handle, can't shoot yet, but it's worked the last couple years. So it's like, can they develop him? So I could see that happening too.
Yeah, you get an NBA shooting coach in there, and he'll figure it out a decent amount.
Get him in the weight room. Like it
will work out usually.
Yeah. Let's talk about rumors before we get to these preseason or reactions, I guess. The first one is Kyrie Irving. This is the big one. Brooklyn Nets owner Sean Marks, I think, is there, or is he their GM? One of them. He's a part of this.
He might be the CEO.
Something like that, yeah. He came out and pretty much said, or he didn't come out, but just got reported that they are kind of entertaining the idea of not having Kyrie Irving on the team next year, whether that means him just leaving in free agency. He has a player option, or it's a sign and trade, or he picks up his option and they trade him. But Kyrie Irving obviously missed a large part of the season last year, and when he was back, it was half for part-time as well. He's a very, very good NBA player, obviously, but the Brooklyn Nets have gone through a lot in the last year or so with Kyrie Irving, the James Harden situation, Ben Simmons coming and not playing, Kevin Durant getting hurt, and it's like the fall off of the net. If Kyrie gets signs with another team, And like KD is just like, all right, like I'm gonna ask for a trade too.
Yeah,
like,
get me out of here.
The fall off of the Nets is gonna be like there needs to be a documentary about that.
Yeah, it's 3 of the most skilled basketball players ever coming together, and the farthest they got was conference semifinals.
Yeah, and
with
they like
just KD,
and they like barely even played together.
And oh man, it is a serious dark spot on their career. It is a bad look for all 3 of those guys.
I feel like KD though is just in a bad spot. Like,
yeah, because KD
he
hasn't
didn't
done
ask for
anything
any
wrong.
of this. Yeah,
No.
he signed his extension. Like he wants to be there. But it's
KD
like,
and KD plays the
Yeah.
most out of any of them. It was actually crazy to see what happened in Brooklyn these past few years. And now this whole rumor of Kyrie, and I get it. I get it from the Nets. You can't pay a guy $40 million to not play basketball.
Right.
Same, but they're already
He's
doing
so
it with Ben
unpredictable.
Simmons.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't have 2 of those guys for sure.
that is very true. Yeah,
You definitely can't have 2.
and might as well take the one that is vaccinated.
Yeah, facts. At least he can play in New York.
Yeah, well, I guess now Kyrie can, but I don't know. This is weird. Like I think at this point we will not see Kyrie in a Brooklyn Nets.
I think so,
uniform
too.
Next year. After that report, it's like, how are you going to recover from that? The Nets clearly are done putting up with the drama. They've had so much drama, and they've put up with it, because it's the star talent, and you want to keep your stars happy. They even made James Harden happy after he was unhappy by trading him to where he wanted to go. And at this point, it's like, how long can you like make these guys happy while your franchise is hurting from it and your future is not looking great? You traded away all your picks. Like, imagine Houston Rockets fans if Kyrie and KD are gone.
Hallelujah.
Like, that trade
reach for the
looked
sky.
awful. That trade was the worst trade ever for the Rockets when it happened, trading James Harden there. And it would be like, it would be the weirdest turnaround trade ever. I think Kyrie's going to be gone. Obviously, it said the Knicks, Lakers, and Clippers are the teams involved. I think it's just to put those names in there, because how the hell is he going to get on the Lakers unless he signs for $7 million?
Can you imagine if Kyrie went back to team up with LeBron?
Yeah, exactly.
After everything.
And like, what are you going to do? Do a sign and trade Westbrook for Kyrie?
Yeah.
You send Westbrook back with KD? Like, that's not going to happen. So, I don't know. It's going to be really weird. I think a dynamic of KD and Simmons with a bunch of like quality players, if you did a trade with Kyrie, would be fun to see. Yeah.
I think it's just crazy to me. The crazy thing about this whole Nets thing is they had a future. There was a time before they got KD, Kyrie, and James Harden where they had D'Angelo Russell, Jared Allen,
Karis LeVert.
Then that team was winning. Jared Dudley, I know he wasn't part of the future. Spencer Dinwiddie was part of that team. They traded away everything. D'Lo is on a great rebuilding team. Jared Allen is on a great rebuilding team.
Allen has blossomed, yeah.
You traded away your rebuilding
LeVert's
pieces, and they're
team.
better. Yeah. It is just, it's unreal what has happened to this Nets organization over the history of me knowing basketball.
Yeah.
Trading for Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, or they didn't trade
giving
for
away the farm, to get all them guys.
And you were expected to win. Those guys weren't expected to
make
lose.
it out of the second round as that big four of KG, Pierce, Darren Williams, and Joe Johnson. And Brook Lopez. Yeah, the big five, actually. I mean, it's not a big five, but you get what I'm saying.
It should have been.
Didn't make it out of the second round with that team, and all of a sudden, those picks that you traded away turned into Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who were just in the NBA Finals. Like, and then you turn it around, though. Like, it was looking bad. You turn it around.
You have a good rebuild going.
And you're like, all right, let's accelerate this. We have 2 spots. Let's get KD and Kyrie. Oh, James Harden wants to come, too. Screw it. We'll trade away all them picks again. Like
make the same mistake.
We didn't learn our lesson,
Oh, man. History repeats itself in crazy ways.
They have Ben Simmons now, which obviously Ben Simmons is the will he play. But Ben Simmons, if we are thinking about it from a basketball standpoint, he's a young player that is a good up-and-coming player in this league. When he plays, he's great. So at least they have that. But it's Ben Simmons.
There are just so many issues with this team.
So
Ben Simmons didn't play.
He sat out the whole year.
And for what? To dress funny on the sideline? This team has just so many issues. Everybody needs to just get out. Get out of Brooklyn. Yeah. Sell the team. Everything needs to restart the roster.
But where will Kyrie go? Because Kyrie, I feel like, is not some dude that's just going to go to Washington.
No, he has to go to a contender.
Exactly. Like, not even that, but he has to go to, like, a city. Like, he's not going to go to
New York.
Denver. Like, I hate to say it, but, like, he's not going to go to any of these teams that aren't.
He should go to New York.
That's Kyrie. like the New York Knicks?
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like he wants out of New York, right?
Yeah, facts. He goes across the
Wouldn't
water.
you think so? Like, obviously, if he went to the Knicks, that'd be really cool. Like, he's from New York.
Might as well go to the Clippers. I mean, I can't even think of any more big cities that he could go to.
Yeah.
Miami's full. Houston's rebuilding. Dallas.
Dallas,
That's a
maybe
big
you
city.
have to do a big sign and trade. They just traded for Christian Wood. Like, they don't have the money. Like, that's the thing.
LA, both LAs are out of the picture.
Free agency doesn't exist anymore in the NBA. All the teams that have the max money in free agency are rebuilding teams. The Magic, the Pistons, those are the teams that have the most money. You think Kyrie's going to want to go to Orlando? You think Orlando's going to want to sign Kyrie? Like, no. So it's going to have to be sign and trade. But, like, if I'm Kyrie, you might just want to opt into your option and then ask for a trade.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what team's giving him the max either. Like, I did see a Denver trade. It was like Michael Porter Jr. Or maybe it was Jamal Murray, actually.
I saw
Jamal Murray and a couple other things.
That would
for
not
Kyrie.
work.
It would be cool, but I don't think it would work.
No, Kyrie and Jokic could not coexist.
I don't know. I think they could.
Dude, I don't know.
But I don't think Kyrie in Denver. Like, I just don't see him going and playing somewhere
I just
like
can't
that.
imagine Kyrie taking a back seat because he would need to. Again.
Yeah.
Like,
But if you go play LeBron and Anthony Davis, you're going to do the same thing.
yeah, I guess. He's just got to realize
He's just the most unpredictable player ever. Like,
Ever.
we can sit here and talk about what we think is going to happen, and all of it is going to be wrong.
Yeah.
So, like, he could end up on the friggin' Pistons.
I
for
hope he
all we
goes to
know.
Charlotte.
Imagine if the Pistons signed him.
I don't know, Iverson style.
I mean, hey, KD, if Kyrie wants out, he gets traded or he gets signed somewhere else, and KD's like, man, I think I want to trade.
sell the farm.
The Pistons, I think he wants to be there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it has to be via trade.
And he has to, Sadiq has to stay.
Sadiq has to get traded, though.
No,
Like,
he has to stay. KD likes Sadiq.
I know, but that's how are you going to get Kevin Durant without trading one of Cade or Sadiq?
You're giving Killian Hayes, beef stew, Bagley, 5th overall pick. Give us KD. Give us him.
You think all that's going to happen by tomorrow night?
No. No.
Exactly. I did just get
Absolutely
a
not.
notification. I just want to. It is, notification time, but
Yeah.
no, it's not.
And I don't know which button is the breaking news button. Let's figure it out. That's the game show
the game
music.
show. Speaking of that, we got to get a game going back again. Oh, wait, no, we have the Sauce Draft coming up.
Oh, yeah.
We got to do that.
Yeah,
But we can't do it this weekend.
We'll have to do it next week.
Yeah. We'll figure it out when we're going to do it.
What did he say?
Yeah, because Ivan and Colby can both do it during the week. So we can
Yeah,
just
for
find a
sure.
time.
We can just do it on like a Tuesday.
We will have to do our draft grade. I always love doing the draft grades and like reaction to the draft. So we'll have to do an episode of that.
Team grades. I like
Yeah.
doing that.
We'll have to do that like early next week, maybe like Monday or Tuesday, probably.
How about Tuesday?
Yeah. What if we hoop? We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We always do.
But let's talk about, or I guess there's a couple other rumors. Not really, actually. Christian Wood got traded to the Mavericks. That's pretty much
cool.
it. Like, all the rest is just rumors, and there's no point about talking about it now unless it happens in the draft. Was that Jeopardy?
Yeah, man.
That's what I thought.
Oh, how do you remember
I
that,
don't
dude?
know.
What's this button?
That one is... That's the late night cast.
Damn,
one, right?
dude,
Yeah.
you are good at this. Yeah.
All right, let's react to our
Yeah.
preseason. I have a lot of screenshots of just everything like that we put on TikTok. So I'll ask you what you want to do first, because we have obviously our standings predictions that we did. We have
I wanna
our
see standings
award
first.
predictions. We have I even took screenshots of our top 20 players, and we did top 30, but I just did the top 20 players in the NBA to
We
see.
could probably do that when we re-rank them.
Yeah,
this
we could just
offseason.
do that. That's a good idea. And then I also did when we did the top 10 breakout players list, because we'll see if they
Oh,
broke
dude, that
out.
one's gonna be. We'll
So,
do that one last.
all
I
right.
want to do awards second.
All right, so standings first. All right, so just a quick refresher off of what was the standings. Actually, no, we don't need to do that.
Nikhil Alexander Walker did not break out.
How did you know he's on there? He was 10th on your list, though. So
Okay.
Yeah, he got traded, actually. So
Yeah, he did.
and then ended up getting no minutes in the playoffs.
did not break out.
All right, so these were our Western Conference standings. Our bottom three were the same in whatever order. I had OKC, San Antonio, Houston at 15, 14, 13. You had Houston, OKC, San Antonio.
Was that accurate?
It's accurate. Houston and OKC both finished at the very bottom of the conference. San Antonio, I think, let's look where they
so I was
finished.
the most right.
San Antonio finished 10th. Oh, yeah, they're in the play-in. So they finished
Yeah.
10th. So, but Thunder and Rockets were 14 and 15. So we were accurate there. The Spurs had a better year than we thought. 12, we both had the Sacramento Kings, and the Sacramento Kings were the 12th seed.
Yes, sir.
So we're on that. You already know. This is where things get a little bit shaky. My 11 seed was the Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh, man.
Obviously, the Memphis Grizzlies had an incredible year, and they were the 2 seed.
Where did I put the Warriors?
That I know that was gonna be fun. Your 11 seed was the Minnesota Timberwolves, another team that had a great year, broke out. They were the 7 seed. So we're a little
playing.
Yeah, they were the 7 seed.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, because the Clippers were the 8 seed.
Oh, yeah.
And then our 10 slot, we each had the New Orleans Pelicans, which is pretty accurate. The Pelicans were the 8 seed, technically post play-in, but they were the 9 seed coming into it. So that's pretty accurate. We had them as a play-in team. I think if you just have them as a play-in,
Yeah, it works.
Pretty
If
valid.
you get the playing teams right, you've nailed it.
yeah. And then your 8 seed was the Los Angeles Clippers, right on the dot.
Come on,
that's,
man.
That's pretty, that's hard to guess
Yeah.
because they had no Kawhi coming
Yeah.
into the year. And obviously Paul George got
I'm
hurt.
good.
But yeah.
Give me a pay raise.
I had Portland as the 8 seed. You had Portland as a 7 seed. Portland is one of the teams that
Yeah, foul.
sucked.
Yeah.
They were the 13 seed, but Dame Lillard got hurt.
Yep. Can't predict it in injury.
7 seed, I had the Dallas Mavericks. Pretty far off.
Dude,
I mean, they were the
have
4
the
seed.
Warriors?
They were the 4 seed, but
Did.
it's all right. I had the Clippers as the 6 seed, so it's kind of close. You had Dallas as 6, pretty close.
Who's 7 for me?
Portland was 7.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
Portland was pretty off for both of us,
Yeah.
but that one's kind of injury.
Yeah.
reliant. 5 seed for you was the Golden State Warriors, which is still not. I mean, they
They
were
were
the
the
3
3.
seed. Yeah, so it's still really not that far off. My 3 seed or my 5 seed was the Denver Nuggets, which was almost right on the dot. They were the 6 seed. 4 seed for me was the Phoenix Suns, which is a little tough. They were the best team in basketball the entire year. Coming off of
By a long shot.
coming off of a finals appearance, having them at 4 is a little is tough. It's a bad look. But there's way worse looks coming up. You had Denver as the 4, which they're the 6, so pretty close. I had Golden State as the 3.
Damn.
I'll take
That's
that.
hype,
Coming
bro.
off of the 2 years they had, it was hard to predict the Warriors. Having them as the 3, I will take it. Your 3 seed was the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, man.
My 2 seed was the Los Angeles Lakers. So we were all in on the Russell Westbrook hype. After this year, because we are LeBron guys. Let's
Yeah,
face
we
it.
are.
We're LeBron guys. And I always say that, it's LeBron. If LeBron's healthy, they're going to be good. Because my whole life, it's been like that. After these last couple years in LA, it's all right, maybe it's not going to be like that anymore.
Not anymore. Superstar basketball.
However,
the same.
will I still pick the Lakers to be good next year? Most likely,
Yeah,
I
probably.
probably will, unfortunately. But that one's really bad.
Yeah,
Because
for
the
sure.
Lakers, they had injuries, yes, but their team sucked.
Yeah.
They finished as
And
the
LeBron
11th
was,
seed.
and the thing is, we did nail the LeBron being good thing. LeBron was great
He
this
was
year.
great, yeah.
He was
But his team
unbelievable.
sucked, and he also was injury prone too.
Yep.
Your 2 seed was the Phoenix Suns, which is pretty close, obviously.
Yep.
And then this is kind of a miss from both of us. Kind of. We both had the Utah Jazz as the 1 seed. They were the 1 seed last season, obviously, and we had them repeating as 1 seeds. And they
Can't
were
believe we both had them at the
they were
1
the
seed.
5th seed, so I guess that's a pretty
That's a
big
pretty
miss.
big
They
miss.
lost 15 less games than the 1 seed did. So
Yeah.
or they won 15 less games. So
That's a lot. That's a big difference.
That's a pretty big miss. But I just thought the Jazz were gonna be the same team, and they weren't. A lot of their guys regressed. So
Yeah, a lot of them.
yeah, that was the Western Conference. Not that horrible. I don't know. The Lakers is bad. The Memphis one from both of us is pretty bad.
Dude,
I mean, we were right there.
I think
but-
we both have Brooklyn as the 2 seed.
Yeah, I know. All right, Eastern Conference. Bottom 2, or no, never mind. Oh, dude, I have such bad ones already just looking at it, dude. Because the East was so different
So
this year.
hard.
It was good. We each had Orlando as a 15 seed. Absolutely nailed it. We knew that.
Come on,
we
we
knew
knew.
that more than
We
anyone
knew.
else. Your 14 was the Detroit Pistons. I had them as my 13, so you got it right. I was 1 off. I had the Cleveland Cavaliers as the 14 seed in
Whoa.
the East. Obviously, they took a huge leap this year. They ended up being the 9 seed technically, but coming into it, I think they were the 8 seed in the play-in tournament. You had the Washington Wizards at the 13 seed. I think they ended up finishing. I got it right here. They were the 12 seed, even though they started off as the 1 seed 2 weeks into the season. I had the Pistons at 13. Charlotte was my 12 seed. I definitely was sleeping on Charlotte coming into this year. They were the 9 seed or 9 or 10. Yeah, they're the 10 actually coming into the play-in tournament. Lost the play-in tournament game. You had the Toronto Raptors as the 12 seed. That one's tough because they ended up being the 5th seed. They were really good this year. I I had Washington at 11, so just a little bit off.
Toronto is a big mess, dude. That's a big mess.
You had Cleveland at 11, so still off, but definitely a lot closer than mine was. I had Toronto as the 10 seed, so both of us slept on Toronto. Like, they were the 5th seed. We had them as double-digit seeds.
We didn't think they were going to be shit.
But it gets worse, though, dude, honestly.
For you or for me?
For me. Indiana is the 10 seed for you. They ended up being the 13 seed in the East. They were pretty bad all year. But they kind of blew it up. But I guess we kind of should have expected that.
Yeah.
The Knicks as my 9, the Knicks as your 8. I mean, they sucked. Like, the Knicks just disappointed. They were the 11 seed. We thought they were going to be better, I guess.
I assumed the Knicks would be decent after their. I didn't think they were going to be a one-year wonder. They still might not be, but right now they are.
They look like it, yeah.
Yeah.
And Julius Randle looks like a one-year wonder.
Yeah, for sure.
You had Charlotte at 9. I had Indiana at 8, so Charlotte was right on the money for you. Atlanta was my 7. They ended up being the 9, technically, before the play-in tournament. Philly was your 7, and they were the 4, so, I mean, it's not that far off.
Not that bad.
Boston is your 6. Which ended up being the 2 seed, obviously, but they at the start of the year, it looked like a good
was
prediction.
accurate.
Yeah. I had Chicago as my 6, and that was right on the money, and you had Chicago as 5, which is just one off, which was pretty good guess because we didn't know what to expect from them coming into the year. And DeMar DeRozan was really good. Philly was my 5, so I was one off on them. You had Atlanta at the 4, which is a little tough.
Yeah, that's a big mess.
Yeah.
But I, again, didn't expect them to be a one-year wonder.
Exactly. I had Boston as the 4, which they were the 2. We each had Miami at 3, which they're the 1 seed, but it was close, like by a game, so that's not bad at all. Both had Brooklyn as the 2 seed, which obviously they were not that. They were the 7 seed and got swept in the first round. But did we expect James Harden to get traded?
No.
No. And then Milwaukee as the 1 seed, and they were the 3 seed. They were the 3 seed.
We also expected Kyrie to play more games than he did.
Exactly.
So there was a lot more going on in Brooklyn than basketball.
I would say for the most part, we did pretty good in the standings. I think our standings was pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Awards next?
Yeah.
All right. MVPs. Or no, should I start MVP?
No.
Yeah, I won't. Coach of the year, you picked Monty Williams. Correct.
Yes, sir.
Great job. I picked Eric Spoelstra.
What a bad pick.
Which, I mean, they're the 1 seed.
Awful pick.
Yeah.
Decision. Bad decision.
Most improved player. I'll skip that one because we have to do the breakout players one, which the number 1s were our most improved players. So, 6th man of the year. I picked Kobe White of the Chicago Bulls, which he was hurt at the beginning of the year, which
I can't
made
even
it
think
a bad
about who
pick.
won 6th man of the year.
It was Tyler Hero.
Oh,
by a
yeah.
landslide. I picked Kobe White, and he didn't really have a crazy good year. He started a lot because of how much guys got hurt anyways. You picked Jordan Clarkson to repeat as 6th man.
Great
Both
decision.
of those just way off.
Great decision.
Depoy, we both picked Bam Adebayo. Pretty valid pick. I mean, I think he was he a finalist for, actually, I don't think he was. But
I don't think he was.
He was in the talks for Depoy like all year, and he was definitely first team all defense. Rookie of the year, we both picked Cade Cunningham. Great picks.
Should have been.
Clearly was the rookie of the year.
Yep.
And then MVP, we both picked Giannis Antetokounmpo, who had an MVP caliber season.
Yeah, just Jokic had a more.
Yeah,
MVP
he was
caliber
first team
season.
All-NBA. So next year will be fun picking MVP because we know it's not going to be Jokic for the 3rd year in a row. So who will it be?
I've got my pick locked in.
Tatum?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been talking about it. All right. Most improved player candidates. Let's go through each of our lists because this is going to be fun. My number 10, I picked Spencer Dinwiddie. I thought he was going to ball out with the Wizards. He did not. Once he got traded to Dallas, he did good, but definitely not a most improved. That's a huge miss. Nikhil Alexander-Walker was your 10.
It's bad. But it's not that bad.
Yeah, no,
Young
it's not
player.
that bad. Your number 9 was Beef Stew, Isaiah Stewart.
Yes, sir.
Like, he improved. Obviously, he
Yes,
didn't have
he
like
did.
a crazy breakout year or anything, but he
This
improved.
is breakout players, right?
Yeah, it was top 10 breakout players / most improved candidates.
Gotcha.
So, a little bit of both. My number 9, nailed this one. Jordan Poole was my number 9.
That's hype.
I will take that.
That's hype.
I mean, I wish I would have had him higher, but.
Yeah, go blue.
All right.
Almost.
Your number 8 was DeAndre Hunter. He definitely improved this year. He was injured, which kind of hurt his breakout year, but he definitely had the best year of his career by a good amount, and he's become like one of the better young wings in the league. I had Kevin Porter Jr. as my number 8. Had a good year, didn't really break out though, and just kind of had some drama going on in Houston. Number 7, you had Rui Hachimura. He was hurt pretty much the entire year. Didn't really break out. He could next year, but definitely didn't break out. I had Karis LeVert as my number 7, which he had a good year when he wasn't hurt. He definitely was pretty good for Cleveland, but didn't really break out. Number 6, Darius Garland for you.
Yes,
Obviously
sir.
is like the biggest one on this list probably out of any of them because he was a finalist for most improved player, and he
I nailed
100%
that.
broke out. Yeah.
Did you have Darius Garland?
Yeah, I got him a little higher.
Okay.
My number
Damn.
6 was RJ Barrett. I feel like that
That's
was a
pretty
good
good.
pick.
That's pretty good.
He had
He-
the best year of his career, and definitely had a shot at being most improved if his team would have been better too.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 5 for each of us was OG Anunoby, who he had a good year, but Scotty Barnes was a lot better than we thought he was going to be, and it definitely took away from OG. Maybe next year if he's on Portland, we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
Your number 4, DeJounte Murray. That's a big dub. I
that's
didn't
a
have
dub.
DeJounte Murray on there.
Yes, sir.
He was a finalist, so you had 2 of the 3 most improved player finalists
In my top
in your
5?
top 6.
Darius Garland, I gotta get him higher. I'll be better next year.
My number 4 was Jaren Jackson Jr., who had a breakout year. I mean,
Yeah, people are high on Jaren
was
Jackson
one
now.
of the best defensive players in the NBA, led the NBA in total blocks. He was first team all defense and was a part of a really good team. I think that's a breakout year for
Trey
sure.
J.
Yeah, I have it as Trey J on here. Darius Garland was my number 3.
Oh, that's a great pick.
So we'll take that.
That's a dub.
Kevin Porter Jr. was your number 3,
Oh.
which obviously we both had him, but it's a
just-
pretty big gap between the two.
Yeah, well, DeJounte Murray being below him.
him.
Yeah, it's a bad look.
Your number 2 was Jaren Jackson Jr. which
Yes,
is
sir.
Still pretty good. My number 2 was Michael Porter Jr., who clearly did not break out. Was pretty ass through the
Dude, I
first
had him number 1.
2 weeks of the year, and then had another back injury and missed the entire year. And then you had Michael Porter Jr. as number 1. And then my number 1 isn't much better. It was Keldon Johnson of the San Antonio Spurs. Definitely improved.
Yeah.
But to have him number 1 on my list, he did not quite meet the criteria. But DeJounte Murray being on his team was a big. I didn't want to put 2 Spurs guys.
Yeah,
so
and
I
we
chose
never could have
Keldon.
predicted who would to win most improved.
Yeah,
Not with who
exactly.
on it.
But it's Ja Morant.
Like, we're not going to
We
pick.
knew that was gonna. Yeah, we're not gonna throw Ja Morant on the top 10 breakout players.
That's like
dude,
me
the
taking
dude is
Luka.
broken out already. He broke out in college. We knew he was gonna be that good. So I like that list though. We definitely have to do that again.
Yeah, that was fun.
because
That was
that's a
fun.
really fun list for sure. Yeah, we don't have to look at the top 20 players.
No.
We'll do that. We'll do that next time. So
We'll do it
Yeah.
after we do our list next time.
Yeah.
We'll react to it.
NBA draft coming tomorrow. Things to look out for from us. Draft grades, sauce draft. Obviously
That's like the big one.
free agency predictions maybe. Maybe we'll just add that into the draft grades episode or something because that free agency starts a week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
So be ready. We're
Yeah,
gonna
be
be
ready.
coming. Talk coming.
No.
All right, see ya.
Peace.